Folks, tonight's a big debate. Listen, the debate coming up tonight, obviously, is between the Vice President Mike Pence and Kamala Harris running with Joe Biden. It's a big debate. It's a big deal. We're now, as I just told you during that read right there, we did that advertisement for Keep America, America.com. Voting's already started in some places. About 3 million people have voted, which means tens of millions or more haven't. The first debate I thought was a resounding victory for President Trump, and I'm going to show you some evidence from that in a moment. I want you to dump the conventional wisdom, though, about tonight. The conventional wisdom is Kamala Harris was a prosecutor. She's so smart. She beat up Joe Biden in the first debate. She's so talented. Kamala Harris was a trained lawyer, and Mike Pence is just, oh man, one of those old rednecks. So dopey, Mike Pence. He's really going to be in for it. Really? Are you sure about that? Number one, I can tell you, I know Mike Pence. We're not like tea and crumpets buddies, but I know him well and well enough. He's a great person with a character and a spine of stone. And he is a more than gifted debater, as Tim Kaine, his debate opponent in the last election, when we kicked the snot out of the Clinton-Kaine campaign in 2016, found out the hard way. Now, before I get to this, I want to cover this Wall Street Journal piece on this because they acknowledge just this, that conventional wisdom, the talking heads, the pundits that are all so much smarter than guys like me and you who actually worked for a living before, they know everything, right? And they're the ones pitching this, many of them, not all of them, that, this Kamala Harris, she is just so skilled. What a politician. I mean, the cream of the crop, the top of the totem pole. There's nobody better in debating than Kamala Harris. Mike Pence is going to get crushed. They said the same thing about the first Trump debate where they told you Trump lost. Well, I'm going to show you in a minute why my analysis of that and a couple other folks, after I put it out there, I might add, piled on, was right. First, Wall Street Journal piece. This is the best way I've heard it summed up. Don't underestimate Mike Pence by Bill McGurn. A soothing dose of Hoosier calm might just be what the Trump campaign needs. Now, he sums it up like this, McGurn. Now, keep in mind, bottom line up front, what we're talking about here, headline, Pence has been chronically, undervalued as a politician his entire life because he's a calm, cool, collected guy. He doesn't, I tend to be a little more passionate. There's different styles, but Pence is brilliant and he knows what he's doing. From the Journal piece, this is good. It says, yes, in the first Democratic primary debate, Miss Harris put Mr. Biden on the ropes. Told you that, right? But she never matched that dominating performance in subsequent debates. Fact. And she had a hard time answering questions when Mr. Biden started firing back. Another fact. After an explosive start, she flamed out and withdrew from the race before a single vote had even been cast. Correctamundo. Here, part two of this. William McGurn. Unlike Kamala Harris, Mr. Pence's advantages are all the understated ones. And unlike Mr. Trump, the words most often used to describe the vice president are calm and measured. Those who have watched him know his aw shucks Midwestern demeanor serves him well in debates. Not going to hammer this too much. We got a debate coming up tonight. We will be back here tomorrow for coverage of it from the room here. We'll have some clips. We'll have some highlights, some lowlights. I'm sure Kamala Harris will have a lot of those. I'm just here to tell you, throw the conventional wisdom out the window. Mike Pence could lose the debate. I don't think it's going to happen. Pence is very skilled and don't play into the nonsense. Secondly, before we move on to this other stuff, which is really, I don't even want to tease it. I just want to get to it. What did I tell you about the first debate? If you're listening to cable news nut jobs and lunatics, many of them are all, geniuses, self-declared, who've never really had real jobs, never lived in the real world, know nothing about the real world, yet tell you in the real world what you're supposed to think about the real world, which I've always found fascinating. I said to you last time, I've actually worked for a living and had actual jobs like many of you, that Trump won that debate. And at the time, I was mocked by leftist lunatics, including that loser on, what's his name? Seth Miller or something, the night guy. I'm not sure, but another zero. If I saw him in the street, would cross the street immediately, probably wet his diaper too. But that's a whole other story. So Seth Miller, he made a big deal about my commentary on Fox, where I suggested that Trump won the debate the first time, despite the interruptions and despite the demeanor, because the people who support Trump in a base election were not turned off by any of that at all. And yet, the people who support Biden in a base election, which is what this is going to be, you're appealing to your base. The independents are going to have to figure it out on their own. Biden did significant damage to his base. Why? Because Trump got him to consistently renounce Bernie Sanders and the left. Yeah, everybody laughed. Seth Miller, whatever his name is. He thought that was hilarious. When I said, listen, Trump's the apex predator. He's the shark in the ocean. That doesn't turn off anyone. Biden came off like a guppy, apologizing for his socialists and all that other stuff. You may say, oh, that's great. It'll make him appeal to independents. Ladies and gentlemen, there are very few independents left. But I warned you that Biden's base was going to be turned off. Did I not say this, Paul? Did I not say that, right? Okay, here's a tweet I saw yesterday, right before the Biden-Harris debate, by a guy, what's his name? Kyle Kalinske here, Secular Talk. Don't know this guy, never met him. He's a progressive, which is fine. That's his thing. Like I said, I'm not suggesting he's a bad guy, but he's right. And his analysis comports with mine exactly. Quote from his Twitter feed. He's a blue check mark guy, so it must mean he's serious. Joking, of course. Every time Joe Biden takes the bait and gives Bernie a cute little anti-socialist pot shot, he makes it infinitely more difficult for young lefties to suck it up and pull the lever, especially since it's accompanied by a moderate Republican love fest. Pathetic. Thank you. Paula's right next to me today. She's not on the couch back there. Today she's moved right next to me. I said that to you. What, now that a lefty says, I don't know this guy. I'm not taking like a pot shot at this guy. He's right. His analysis is correct. It's the same analysis I have. But now that he says it, it'll be taken seriously by Seth Miller and the other late night geniuses who've never actually had real jobs? I'm telling you, I was a candidate, I'm a voter and an activist. I've seen it from every angle, now a commentator. And I've actually had real jobs. This is a base election. Trump and Biden have largely tried to forfeited, in many cases, the middle. People are locked in. There are very few independent, real, genuine, independent, undecideds left. Now it's turn out your Republicans and turn out your Democrats. And every opportunity Trump has, he divides Biden from the left, which makes Democrats less likely to show up. And in a base election, that's deadly. Thank you very much.
You just heard Dan Bongino.